wasn't sure I was going to be able to make it tonight. But then when Cassandra posted the video, my picture was up first, and I was like, now I'm going to have to tell a story. So I don't have it memorized. I have it mostly memorized, and it won't be over the 10 minutes, that's for shizzles. But thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. So it's called Playing a Trick on Mamas. In the late 1990s, before fees tacked on hundreds of dollars to airfare, my friend Moz asked me on Wednesday if I would like to book a plane ticket to London and go with him to pool the next weekend. He wanted someone to come with him, but he didn't want to invite his girlfriend because he didn't want to have to pay for her ticket.
Ooh.
And there was a girl at home he wanted to catch up with.
Oh.
And besides, we had an agreement. What happens in England stays in England. Saying no to Moz was a close call. I had a lot of things on my calendar, and it was going to take too much to reorganize, replan, etc. So I had to say no. But just in case, I thought I'd check to see if my passport was valid. It was. By Tuesday, everything that was on my calendar had faded away, and I asked Moz, "Is it too late to go with you to London?" "Of course not," he said. And so I submitted a last-minute vacation request. It was approved, and I bought a ticket for about $300. And on Thursday night, I found myself in LAX, waiting for the plane to London. Moz had booked a different flight, so we made an arrangement to meet at the car rental. And as we made our way down to pool, I asked Mozzie, where'd we be staying? I should have probably asked that in the beginning, but what can you do? He told me his friend Adrian was going to put us up, and we were going to have a bit of fun. As we pulled up to Adrian's house, there was a tall, slender man with brown hair waiting for us on the front door step. I thought, he's just my type, except there was the smell of cigarette smoke wafting from his pressed collared shirt and jeans. Oh well. Adrian welcomed us into his house, and as he showed us throughout the house, I kept my eye out to see if there were any pictures of a wife or kids. There weren't any. My heart began to race. Starving, we went out for dinner, and Moz and Adrian began planning what we would do for the weekend. Mozzie was anxious to get caught up with Bunny, and said he would show me pool after he got back from seeing her the next day. Adrian volunteered to take me around town. No. I'll do it, Mozzie said. But Adrian had asked, and so who was I to say no? And the next day, Adrian took us around town, and we ended up at the pub after to meet up with Moz, Bunny, and other friends from the yacht club. By the time the pub closed, countless pints of beer and cider had been consumed. The next day, Sunday, found us at the pub again. My American liver and lungs were not quite up for another day of drinking in the pub, and so I walked outside, and Adrian soon followed me. "It's going to be an early night for me tonight," Amy said. "Work tomorrow." I said, "Me too." Gotta catch that plane, back to work on Tuesday. So we went back into the pub, said goodbye to Moz, and headed home. But as we left, Mozzie, with a twinkle in his eye, said, "Leave the line on for me." We got back to the house. Adie made me a cup of tea, and we reminisced about all the things we had done at the weekend. Adrian went up to his room, and I followed shortly after into my room and packed. In the morning, as I headed downstairs, I noticed the light we had left on for Moz hadn't been shut off, and his door was open. "Morning, Elizabeth," Mozzie called. "He'll be on his way. It's great spending time with you this weekend." "It's great spending time with you too, Adrian." Wait. Shall we pay a trip on Moz? He hasn't been here all night. He doesn't know that nothing happened between us.
Yeah.
When we go to say goodbye, how about we give each other a massive kiss?
Yeah.
Great idea, Adie said. And when Moz came back home, loaded up the bags into the trunk, and we went to go say goodbye, Moz and Adie shook hands and hugged. And as I came close to Adrian, I took off my glasses, handed them to Mozzie, and he looked at me a bit quizzically. I went in to give Adie a hug, and he pulled me close, and we had a massive kiss, or two, and tongues were involved. Mozzie thanked Adie again for the weekend, and I ran to the car. And as we pulled away, I looked back at Adrian thinking, oh my goodness, what was that all about? And as we drove off, Mozzie, noticing my blush, tried his best to get out of me what had happened. But I was coy and said, good girls don't, what do? We don't kiss and tell. And besides, what happens in England stays in England. And I was glad to be on a separate flight back to the States. When we got back to work, Adie and I continued to exchange emails and continued to wind Mozzie up about what had or had not happened in school that weekend. A few months later, Moz asked me if I wanted to book another trip to England. And this time, it was not a close call to say yes to Mozzie. Who knew where those kisses with Adrian were going to lead? Thank you.